Welcome to We Should Start a Podcast, the only podcast within a podcast. Each week we'll attempt to create the next hit audio show as we pitch our brightest ideas for pods about anything and everything. But more often than not, pretty much nothing. I am your host, Podmaster and Commander Dino, and joining me, as always, are my good friends, Podmaster Chief Danders, and Davey Hogan is here too, bringing up the rear. Let's get into it.
We should start a podcast.
Welcome back, boys, to We Should Start a Podcast. First recording of 2025. Woo! Do I have a sound for that? I do.
But by the time this gets edited, it'll be April, probably.
Exactly. We are very far behind. We're currently 20 days in. Thoughts?
It's going good. Going good so far.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
it's an
LA
operation
is on
day.
fire.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's probably a pretty bad start.
Donald Trump's about to be president.
That's right.
What else?
He is president now, isn't he? And
Oh, he is president now?
TikTok has been gone and it's back in America.
Is it back? I haven't heard that it was back. What was that about?
Oh, it was gone for a few hours, and then when it came back on,
Oh, it was early. It was too early. Like they jumped the gun by half an hour or something, and people were rioting in the streets. Is that it?
oh,
No?
that I don't know of. But when it came back on, then there was a little notification for Americans basically saying that thanks to President Donald Trump's efforts, we're able to get back on online or whatever. And
He's a shiesty bitch, man.
What a guy.
He's a shiesty bitch, man. Like, he campaigned against it, like, and then as soon as the Democrats like, yeah, we should maybe vote, he was like, no, love the
Yeah.
Chinese.
but what's interesting is that little notification came up on the screen, and that was yesterday. So he wasn't technically president yesterday.
I guess he made his intentions known to someone.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm. Did he come back like with a TikTok?
Diddy didn't come back. Oh, no, that'd be terrible.
I don't know. I haven't seen.
We have the
his-
best TikToks. And lots of people were jumping over to that.
Red Note.
What's that Chinese app? Red Note?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
What is Red Note? Is that just the Chinese version of TikTok?
TikTok
I think
is
so, yeah.
Chinese. Like, as in...
No, I think
was
the
developed in
TikTok. I
China.
think that TikTok is like the westernized version of Red
I
Note.
see.
Is that
Right,
correct?
right.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm talking out of my ass
I
here.
think its parent company is Chinese. I don't know if TikTok is Chinese. The CEO is Singaporean, and I'm pretty
Right.
sure lots of China they can actually use TikTok, which is why they have Red Note.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, people are pissed. People were pissed. They were upset. They were going to lose their livelihood, or at least part of it, like the influencers and whatnot. So that was big
That's
news for a
true.
few
Lots
days.
a lot
It
of
would be a
people
big deal.
like
It would be a
main
huge deal.
source of income.
And,
Yeah.
like, the Americans love it. That's for sure.
They do.
I was watching on Reddit as people were panicking that all the TikTokers were going to come over to Reddit.
We don't want you here.
Yeah. Fortunately, you have to read things on Reddit, so the
Yeah,
people
yeah.
who are addicted to TikTok probably don't have the attention
No,
spans.
I'm sure not.
Yeah, definitely not.
Red Note is quite a fun little name for that, like it being Chinese. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously, communism and
Yeah.
never mind. Communism is red. The
I heard
Chinese
that.
flag is red.
I like
never
it.
mind,
Dennis.
don't worry
I
about
like
it.
it. It's a good 2025 bit. But I actually heard that when TikTok shut down, everyone from TikTok went over and started using RedTube.
Jesus, that one died out. That one's
Red
gone.
tube. You know.
Yeah.
I haven't checked it in a while.
No.
No. Check your profile.
Check my profile.
Big Dick 69 liked my comment.
All my like years of past birthday well wishes.
From Riley Reid.
Yeah. And that man getting big dick birthday well wishes is your podcast host, New Year, same podcast host for now, Dino. Nothing to plug, really. No real updates for me from 2025. Pretty boring so far. But we have some big ideas for 2025 and some big guests. What do we think, boys?
Guests?
Should we get guests
I-
this year?
Let's
I
get.
don't know.
Let's
I
get guests.
guess we could.
All right, shut it down.
I knew this was a stupid idea.
No, I haven't. I'm trying to think of anything in 2025 so far that I have to update the folks at home. The only thing that comes to mind is seeing Nosferatu, but that it was a 2024 movie, so I think that's kind of void.
Yeah, doesn't count.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys seen Nosferatu?
Nope.
No, I must watch Nosferatu 1, first of all.
No, very good.
Zinger.
You see Nosferatu Too Fast, Too Furious.
No, it looks really good, though. It looks really good. I don't think there's been a...
night, you will drag race with me. If you haven't seen it, don't worry about it. Bad joke. Anyways, who else do we have here? We have Danders in my top left. Obviously not a Nosferatu fan. How are you, Danders?
I don't know what's going on right now, boys.
Have you seen any of the Robert Eggers movies, Danders? He did Nosferatu, directed it, and
Nice.
The Witch, and The Lighthouse, and what's the other one?
Oh,
The
these
Northman.
like horror movies.
They're kind of horror movies. I wouldn't really say
Thriller.
they're too... Yeah.
Right, yeah.
They're a mood. They're a vibe, should I say.
A scary mood.
A scary mood. But yeah,
Yeah, well, that
they're
that
more
explains it.
artful.
It does definitely like it rings bells about people chatting about it, but you know sometimes people chat about like child slavery and I just don't listen. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of the
Yeah,
same thing when it comes to horror movies.
You just don't care about it.
I don't care about child slavery at all.
Someone tries to stop you on the street. Do you have a minute to talk about child? I don't care about it. You've seen any movies in 2025, Danders?
I don't know that I've seen any 2025 movies, to be specific, like you. But, I don't know what to I mean, it's going great so far. The podcast, not the year, We have a lot to talk about.
Maybe we should just stop while we're ahead.
Yeah. We had a good 4 episodes. Maybe we preambled too much. We got all the news out of the way. All of the banter has been drained from our bodies. And
That's true for the
now
year.
we just make jokes about Chinese flags. Speaking of which, you're in a Chinese living room right now with red lamps everywhere.
It's for the Lunar New Year, of course. I believe.
Is it?
I think so. I don't know. I'm talking out of my ass. Hope I'm not offending anyone. Speaking of offending people, Dave, how are you?
I'm doing all right, man. It's been nice being home the last few weeks. For the listeners at home, yeah, I've been home from Vancouver I'm back in Listowel in Ireland for a few weeks, and it's comforting, especially like because you go home for Christmas and like it's so busy with Christmas, so you don't really get to relax and properly spend time with people. So having the nice few weeks after that is it's always nice.
Were our fans bombing your parents' house with fan mail, or did that not get to you yet?
No, they'd probably struggle to send it here. I was at my Christmas party at the end of last year. A girl came up to me. She has to send like some material and stuff back to Ireland, and she couldn't fathom how we don't have postcodes or hadn't had postcodes for a long time. And she was like, "What do they call it? Oh, they're air codes, like AIR, no EIR, to complicate things a little bit more for her." And then I was telling her, essentially, we like most of the country didn't have postcodes up until whenever they started those air code things, which was like 15 years ago.
Only a couple of years ago, only a few years ago, even then, like it took a while to build.
And are they? Sometimes I feel that they're still kind of optional. Like
Yeah.
you don't need to give your air code essentially.
You just give it to the postman, and he knows who the Kellys are. You know what I mean? It's like that. Like, but I mean, postcodes. I'm a big postcode fan. Like, obviously, in London where I am now, I mean, it's practically the only thing. Maybe a house number. I mean, like a flat number or whatever. But you give them your postcode and they'll find you. Like it's unreal. They get maps out every flipping square inch of the country. Why wouldn't you have it? So yeah.
Yeah.
We're a big postcode podcast here. Big supporters of the postcode.
Not
system.
ashamed of it either.
Not ashamed of it at all. We stand proud with the postcode folks. But that could be our podcast going forward, I think. It's more interesting than what we usually talk
Let's
about.
keep it in the hopper, yeah.
Yeah.
Just in case.
But what our
Wars
podcast
could
is
be? Postcode
Wars? How does that work? Is that like...
It's just like
Storage
gang
wars?
wars. Yeah. I mean, we'll workshop the idea, but this is a lot of killing each other over territory and stuff, so...
Yeah.
Well, it needs workshopping.
Until we get that dialed in, we're going to continue with our current podcast that we're running, which is We Should Start a Podcast. And the point of this podcast is to try to create a hit podcast, go number 1 on the charts. But I do not think we have that perfect podcast idea yet. Maybe Post Code Wars is it. That's yet to be seen. So this show is sort of a placeholder, I think, where we're trying to come up with that hit podcast idea. We're pitching ideas with the hopes of striking gold. We've had some bangers, but we still haven't found the right show. So we will continue to pitch and pod. Is that fair to say, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, boy.
Nothing has changed for the new year. We're still running the same bullshit podcast as we did last year. Sorry, listeners. And you're in for a doozy today, guys. So with that, we are now ready to hear from our podmaster of the day. Our first podmaster of 2025, which is, of course, your boy, Dino, me. And to remind everyone how this works, I will be pitching my latest podcast idea and taking us through a complete trial episode. Following the podcast within a podcast, colloquially known as a podception, we will collectively critique my show based on a classic podcast rating system. But before I pitch, I am legally obligated to remind all the pod goblins out there. Here we go. First one of 2025.
Warmed up, yeah.
That WSSAP never do any research as to whether these podcast ideas exist in the real world. So by accessing the content of this podcast, including the information presented, opinions expressed, and creative elements, you are hereby forfeiting rights to any intellectual property you may already hold in relation to your podcast. And this year, we were taking that very, very seriously, aren't we, guys? This is going to be a very, very serious podcast from here on out. And that means no soundboard, no goofing around, absolutely no Mr. Harvey, and most importantly, no adults allowed.
Good setup. Got him. I got big old biceps and
great.
big heart on. Super. Yeah, that definitely felt neatly positioned in there. That wasn't shoehorned at all.
Yeah.
You got to shoehorn it in because it's so big, you know?
The meat is stinking.
Okay, we'll all keep that in mind, guys. Remember that for the rest of the podcast. You might need that information later.
The shoehorn.
With that in mind, I will now introduce you to my latest and definitely not recycled podcast idea. And that podcast is Millennial Jackass. Guys, do you have any idea what Millennial Jackass, the podcast, could be about?
Unfortunately, I know. So I'm trying to make an educated guess. I just know. So it's really difficult because it's not like it's very niche.
For everyone listening, we actually did this as our very first trial episode. We ran the Millennial Jackass podcast. So the guys know what it is already, but they're gonna have to play dumb here. So Danders, what's your guess?
I think
keeping in mind that you don't know at all what it means.
Oh yeah, so Jackass, the show and movie franchise, was a big hit when I was a kid. People used to, do stunts and hurt themselves for laughs. So I would suspect that maybe it's reflecting on the millennial moments of comedy where people would smash their faces of walls and stuff like that, swim with sharks, things like that.
No, that's not it, you fucking idiot. What are you, some kind of fucking dumbass? As you were saying that, talking about Jackass, my mind just immediately went to retelling all the Jackass stories I did last time. But I will refrain. We don't want to repeat too much material. Dave, do you have any idea what Millennial Jackass is about?
I don't know. Is it where millennials, I don't know, try and decipher certain things from different generations, possibly, maybe, and we're bad at it? No?
Yeah, I mean, in general, we're bad at this. So you're approaching it. So I think out of the two of you, Dave is definitely the closest. Danders is a fucking imbecile. He already knew what it was and he still guessed the wrong thing. Oh, good guesses, guys, though. Good guesses. And now we are ready to dive into this week's podception, which is, of course, Millennial Jackass. Welcome back to Millennial Jackass, a podcast about all things millennial, hosted by three bros born and raised in the golden era of pop culture. #squad goals. Today's episode is about to be baller as we wax on the blockbusting bangers and box office stankers of our youth from before the days of Netflix and chill. While Netflix and other streaming services have completely upended the way we consume media in the modern age, one thing remains the same. Your three hosts for today have still not figured out the chill part of that iconic pairing. Nonetheless, stay tuned to the end to hear us get totes competitive testing our knowledge of generational slang. Let's hear the drop. Kind of fucked that one up a little bit, but let's continue.
Millennial Jackass!
Unfortunately, I only know the chill part of Netflix and chill. I remember one time I had a girl like I was working in a bar in Australia, and a girl who was a few years older than me, like, decided that I was hot shit and wanted to get with me. And so I was like, oh, this is amazing. Like, dude, actually throw yourself in Australia. And I had her over to watch a movie, and we literally watched a movie, and she went home because I was waiting the entire time. Like, oh, this is the good part. Like, I never knew that you're supposed to transition into like actually having sex with them or whatever.
You had way too many snacks and got a tummy ache.
Yeah, she did not call me again.
What movie was it? Do you remember?
I don't remember. It was bound to be something gripping, that I didn't want to miss. So
yeah,
Netflix and chill.
Good story, Danders. That kind of ties into the theme of our podcast, is that we don't have a lot of sex. That's what I was alluding to, and us not figuring out the chill part of that equation. We just know the Netflix. But like I said last time when we ran this, and I kind of forgot again, that we are actually kind of on the older end of the millennial spectrum. Or that younger end of the millennial spectrum, should I say.
Yeah, the top
millennials
top
are
end, yeah.
Yeah, they're people born from 1981 to 1996. So we just squeezed ourselves in.
But I think we said this last time, and that's the last time we'll say that. We'll just treat everything like new information from here on in. But like, it's definitely the generation is kind of, it was a culture and a mindset shift clearly after us in terms of like being raised on tech, the whole kind of 24-hour streaming thing. The Gen Z generation, it is firmly, in terms of how we lived our experience, it is separated from what we went through, if you know what I mean. Like, it was a definitive millennial experience.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Like, for sure.
And I'm sure that every age of millennials think this, but I really feel like that last little push from 1990 to 1996 is like the millennial experience, right? Anyone born in that age are true millennials, and everyone else is, I don't know,
Poser.
A poser.
Yeah.
A poser, to use some millennial slang. I think poser is a very millennial word.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah.
As is totally. Yeah, for sure.
I don't know if I've ever sincerely called anyone a poser in my life.
Yeah. We would use it when we were younger.
Yeah.
Like fellas, they were a bit too in love with themselves.
It was the height of insult, yeah.
You're a bit of a fuck
for anything,
poser,
even if they were like a rocker or whatever. Like, if you just call them a poser, then it just stripped them of all their dignity.
And this might be before millennials, but a funny one is a has-been.
Has-been. Yeah, that's a boomer slang.
Yeah, that's boomer slang.
And we will get to some boomer slang later, but a funny story about has-beens. When my brother was younger in school, like quite young, I don't know what age, but he came home from school and he was really upset, like crying, like inconsolable. And my parents were like, what's wrong? What's wrong? And he was like, some guys at school called me a has-been. And my parents were like, oh, what? Like, what does that mean? And then he was like, a has-been is a boy who likes other boys. First of all, they mixed up lesbians and gays, I think. And then they mixed up the term lesbian with a has-been, or my brother mixed it up. So
I don't know. You connected those dots yourself, I think. Like,
I think so. But like, I don't know what else it could be. Has-been sounds pretty like lesbian. I don't know. It's a game
okay.
Are we allowed to call that Chinese whispers anymore? Is that something we're allowed to do?
I think that's just the name of the game in Europe or Britain or whatever. Ireland, obviously, as well. But in America, they call it telephone. Like in North
Yes,
America, the game
yeah.
is called telephone. So if you North Americans don't know what we're on about now, you do. It's when someone whispers in a circle, at the start of the circle, someone whispers into their friend's ear, and then at the end... once it
In a
goes
Chinese
around-
accent.
In a very Chinese accent. When it gets around to the last person, then they say it out loud, and normally the phrase has just changed because people didn't hear it correctly. So, yeah, I said Chinese whispers on a work call, and they all laughed and thought I was being very racy, you know, like I think it got me some
Okay.
street cred points. You know,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I would be so worried if I said that on a work call, but I actually didn't. I
Don't-
didn't
don't
realize that it
recognize
was
you
called
have
anything
1/8
else.
heritage, no?
That's true. That's true. That's
and,
why I'm repping
and you have
my
a Chinese
background
living
today.
room right now, so yeah.
I do have a Chinese living room, and I am on Red Note. Good riff, guys. My notes for the start of this was riff on some millennial shit. I think we did a decent job of that.
Absolutely. Yeah, nailed it.
And we are now ready to dive into the first segment of the day. But before we do that, we are just going to take a quick break. Welcome back to Millennial Jackass, already in progress. And we're about to dive into our first part of the show, which is a movie segment I like to call The Movies That Made Us. In this segment, we will each choose one movie that defined our millennial upbringing and discuss why we all chose Rob Schneider's Deuce Bigelow European Gigolo. Following that,
you know?
we'll have a short movie quiz.
I don't even recall seeing it, to be honest, man. I don't think I've seen that movie.
I haven't seen it either.
Yeah.
I actually had written down, I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry, but I'd already used that in a bit earlier. So.
And all of us have seen that as well. So.
Yeah. I actually forgot about that movie, and I was looking it up, and I was like, man,
What
this
a
movie
classic.
aged so badly. Okay, so the whole joke of this movie is that these guys are pretending
gay.
to be gay.
They're also firefighters.
Yeah. Imagine that, a gay firefighter.
Do you think Adam Sandler could ever be gay?
And who's the other actor? What's that guy's name?
James. I can't think of it right now.
Oh, he's Paul Blart,
yeah,
isn't
he
he?
is. Yeah, I know him well actually. I just can't think of his name right now.
He was in
Anyway.
Kings of Queens as well. That's where I know him from.
Yeah,
Okay,
he
yeah,
is
yeah.
in that. He was in Hitch. He was
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Albert Brenneman in Hitch.
Imagine that guy gay.
No, that is a testosterone fueled guy I've known one.
Even if you think about it, Hitch, like, okay, we're gonna trick women into having sex with us. That's the whole plot of the movie.
But twist, he has a big heart.
Yeah. Another twist, all the women end up loving it. Anyways, so we're playing the movies that made us. We're each gonna choose a movie that defined our millennial upbringing. I'm just gonna go in the order of my screen here. So I'm gonna let Danders take the floor first. Danders,
Yes, sir.
what movie do you have for us? What movie defined your millennial upbringing?
Yeah, so I think you kind of could have approached it from different eras in terms of our millennial upbringing. So I kind of went in the child, like not toddler, but, you know, sort of 10-ish kind of zone, like just below 10. And for me, what was completely emblematic of that experience for me was the film Hook. Did you guys see it? Do you know the Peter Pan film?
Peter Pan one, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
was
for
that
me-
the live action?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
yeah.
like when I tell you guys this is one of my favorite films, like I think still I mean it's hard for me to view it objectively, but I just think it's an amazing film. Do you know what I mean? Like I have to acknowledge my own bias there for the sake of nostalgia, but it's just a legendary take on basically growing up in the 90s. For me, there's an incredible star-studded cast. Robin Williams is really well placed to do his thing because it isn't one of those roles like him and Jim Carrey where they just let them go absolutely crazy. Like he's got kind of a serious, like his role is quite serious at the start, and then he has some freedom to be like obviously a grown-up man-child at the end. I'm not being pejorative, like he ends up being a grown-up Peter Pan, so like that he is a grown-up man-child. Basically, like the premise, without spoiling too much, is that Peter Pan did eventually leave Neverland to marry and start a family with Wendy's, I think, granddaughter. And then he ends up completely forgetting that whole experience Like he just sort of develops amnesia and into something like a lawyer, I believe. And he's just a very serious career man. And Hook ends up stealing his kids to Neverland, and he has to go and save them. And in doing so, over the course of the movie, sort of rediscover his roots as Peter Pan. And it's a fantastic flick, man. It's funny, it's heartwarming. Like I say, star-studded cast. Robin Williams, Dustin Hoffman plays Hook, and he is invisible in that role. Like even though I knew it was him from reading the credits, I couldn't map Dustin Hoffman to that role for many years afterwards. He's just legendary in it. Julia Roberts is Tinkerbell, Maggie Smith.
R.I.P.
I mean, yeah, exactly. And you know what? She plays an old woman in this, and it's a 30-year-old film, but like she was in her 50s or 60s at the time. But she's so versatile.
Maggie Smith is one of those actresses that has been an old woman for
literally
the last 60 years.
Exactly. Yeah.
Same way like Morgan Freeman has
20s.
been an old man for the last 60 years.
Yeah. And the world will miss her, that is for sure. R.I.P. Maggie Smith, we love you, baby. But Bob Hoskins, Gwyneth Paltrow had a little cameo. And then hilariously, Dustin Hoffman's son also did. But Glenn Close plays a male role for like, it's just a little cameo. And I didn't realize this until I just looked up the film in preparation for this. And it just makes it even cooler, man. But the way they twist it, like for me, because that's the one I grew up with, that's what Peter Pan is. Do you know what I mean? Like people talk about the Disney one, or there was a live action one since that was true to the canon, and people absolutely love that one. But for me, this is classic, vintage, original Peter Pan. It spawned a whole load of creative. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. Maybe we cut this bit. But, it was fuck. Outside of that, Skrillex used it. Skrillex used Bangarang in a drop. But that scene that he does, that he pulls that from, the Bangarang scene, like it just make like when you're a kid.
Wait, is it the Oh My God? No, the Oh My God.
The whole Bangarang scene is from Hook. Like you'll understand it when you watch it, but there's this incredible scene where they're training him to be Peter Pan, and he's just frustrated. He's not getting it. He's still himself, and they're trying to eat imaginary food, and he's pissed off because he's starving, having worked the whole day. And then like all of a sudden it just clicks, and there's all this like amazing colorful paste and shit everywhere, and they just have this mental food fight. And Bangarang is the war cry, So I implore and encourage you to watch it. If nothing else, so that we can do a follow-up podcast chatting about it, because it's just one of my favorite ever films, and I think that you don't get that unless you were growing up at that time,
Mm-hmm.
And like it isn't something that everyone went through, but if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Sounds awesome. I haven't seen it, I don't think.
I saw it years ago, man. I did love the Peter Pan movies, all of them to be fair, but Hook was particularly good.
There's other ones, other live actions.
Yeah,
I know there's
a big live action one somewhere around the 2010 mark, maybe 07 to 10. That's what she thinks of as the classic Peter Pan, because again, she was like a few years later than me growing up.
Mm-hmm.
But I could be off with the year, but yeah, like when we were maybe teenagers or whatever, they did release a very good live action, which is also worth a watch. It's very fun. If you're boys who don't like growing up, am I wrong?
We're all in our 30s and have a dumb podcast, so
about being young.
It checks out. About being young. We're all so young. That reminds me of that CEO guy. Is it Brian? Not Brian Thompson. He was the guy who was murdered by Luigi Malone. Brian Johnson, I think his name is, and he's like a billionaire, and he was a CEO, and he sold his company and is putting all his money into trying to remain as young as possible. So he's doing all sorts of crazy experimental treatments.
Yeah.
Have you seen that guy? He looks like the Uncanny Valley, because he looks simultaneously 35 and 60 at the same time. I don't know. It's just very creepy.
No, it would be good if we could develop the show where you can kind of look it up at the same time and then flash it up for the listeners or whatever. Maybe we'll put that on the burner. But no, I haven't seen that. But interestingly enough, Robin Williams does another film. He must have had a fixation. He does another film called Jack, which is like I think they say that he has global developmental disorder, something like that. But he's a 40-year-old man presenting as a 40-year-old man, but he's a 10-year-old. like inside.
right.
Okay.
And so, goes to school, makes friends with 10-year-olds ultimately. Also a very heartwarming film. Robin Williams is just my actual... he's my shout out for... Yeah, I know. Yeah. But you know what? It was in an era where it could be considered heartwarming. So.
It's like Hitch. Robin Williams pretends he is a 10-year-old inside.
But Robin Williams is really my shout for my millennial upbringing, to be fair. I could boil it down to that. Even though he is obviously from a different time, I just loved his films growing up. That really set my stage.
Absolutely. Anything he made. Another one comes to mind immediately, Mrs. Doubtfire. That was like a movie
such a
of my
classic.
childhood.
And such a classic millennial film as well,
Yeah.
All of them are really.
Great pick, Danders. Very good pick. I must give that one a watch. Dave, do you have a pick for us today?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Beforehand, when you gave us this task and you said there's one obvious one, I honestly thought this was the obvious one. It's American Pie.
Yeah. It's on my list. Yeah, I figured that one would land.
It is kind of like one of the ones, right?
It is, man. Like it's, and I was struggling to find something that like defined my upbringing as such. But like, whenever I watch American Pie, see a clip from it, or even hear listening to Blink-182 tunes, like that comes into my mind, as like part of my teenage years, maybe early teens probably. But like there were so many of them as well, like that they kind of spanned all through our teens.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a good answer. Literally the only reason I didn't pick it was because it was an 18s, and my parents, let's watch 15s when we were very young, but like 18s took quite a while for them to let us watch it, so I didn't see it until later on. But I mean, I wasn't 18, but like I was, a full-on teenager long after it was released. But I mean, I don't think you could have picked a better answer. Like that's just captures that whole generation, doesn't it, from start to finish?
Yeah, absolutely. And like as you said earlier on as well, like we're kind of at the later half of millennials, so there's gonna be like maybe older brothers of our generation that would have they would have been in secondary school or in high school or whatever when those movies were out, and it tied probably very closely to, obviously more to an American experience, like an American high school, American college, that kind of bullshit. But like, I mean, it doesn't mean we couldn't enjoy it over in Europe as well. Like,
no, and even when we were kids, just watching that, we all kind of just thought that that's what our college experience was going to be like anyways, even though it's nowhere near like that in Europe.
We kind of tried to push that needle anytime we could when we were in college. We were like, oh, we're gonna fucking American Pie,
we're all gonna fuck pies in our dorm rooms.
But like, I guess I don't know what Gen Z were watching. The 5 or 10 years after we watched that, they must have been watching some fucking Greta Thunberg shit or something. I don't know, man.
Greta Thunberg fucking a pie in her dorm room.
That's so sustainable.
But yeah, like that movie kind of defined that whole genre,
completely.
Right? So much so that parodies were made off of that.
Yeah, like
series.
The template, like.
Yeah, the clothes, the music, the culture of it, like, that was, I mean, absolutely captures it, 100%.
And I wasn't even that into it. I only saw it maybe a couple times, or a few of them. I don't think I've seen any of them more than once. But to this day, when we're watching something, me and Violet, like someone will come on the screen and I'll be, holy shit, it's Stifler. Or like, oh my God, Stifler's mom, like Sean William Scott or Jennifer Coolidge. And she'll be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, they're such big characters. It was a huge film, absolutely huge.
He only got paid $8,000 for that role, Stifler.
What?
Yeah, it's mad.
But I mean, it kickstarted his. I don't know if he was in anything before that, but he's definitely been in a lot after. Maybe that like kickstarted
a lot
career.
of the same type of movie though, right? Like I don't recall ever seeing him in anything.
He has actually done some serious roles in recent years.
Has he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah,
he's good.
like Walking Tall with The Rock.
I think he was Oscar nominated for that, actually.
Yeah, man, it was American Pie is a good movie, and like all the other ones that were kind of parodies off it. I loved Not Another Teen Movie as well, which was obviously kind of a parody on that idea of the American teenage experience being put on the screen.
There's this one clip where Chris Evans is kissing his biological sister, and this like huge amount of spit like sticks them together. It's a gross film, man. It's a gross film.
Why is he doing that? Is
I
there a
don't know.
reason?
She's just super
She's
horny
constantly
for
coming on
him,
to him, yeah.
And I don't even know if I ever saw the whole film, but like it was definitely, I saw most of it one time. And yeah, I was like, ugh. I was like, is this even comedy? I was a child. Like.
First few times seeing Captain America on screen, all right, I was like, that's the guy that shifted his sister.
That's funny, isn't it? Yeah, they were the only kind of roles he did at the time. Do you know what I mean? Like he just did heaps of them kind of roles. Like he's a Joker, that's for sure.
Yeah, man. I didn't learn off the cast of the movie like Danders did for his.
I had it on my phone.
But there was a few facts that I found as well. The original name for the movie wasn't actually American Pie. It was Great Falls, which was kind of cool.
Great Falls.
Was that going to be like, was that the school name or something, or was that the area? Do you think? Or
I think so. I think it was based on whatever area the thing was written about. Yeah, but it's called Great
I think
Falls.
American Pie is such a better name because, like, apart from anything else,
Yeah.
it's Americana. That's the whole kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, like, there's nothing more American than an apple pie, like, you know. So that's I think that they did the right thing.
It got to test screenings, and the people that were obviously doing the reviews or doing the testing or whatever said they loved everything about the movie but the name.
That's mad. I find it so funny when that happens. Like, there's a film called It's Complicated. They were calling it like Project whatever, 37 up until like it's like practically released. For me, like the name would come before anything else. I'd be like, oh, that's a cool name, and then that would like evolve into a storyline based on some shit wordplay of like in my head of like American Pie, and then he fucks a pie in one scene, and then like that's how it would evolve in my head, like calling it Great Falls. That's mad.
The movie was written in about 6 weeks, apparently.
Whoa. Holy
Yeah,
shit.
which is pretty short. What else? Oh yeah, this was funny. The Jason Biggs, the main actor, he had a stunt double, and for the sex scene in American Pie, they found that the stunt double actually had a big scar across his chest, so he was fired. And
No way.
and Jason Biggs had to do it his own
to do his
sex
own
scene.
stunts.
Yeah.
But like, what other stunts are there besides that? Like, they should have checked that before.
I think like the fact that he requested that, or whether he did or not, like it's not like you're jumping from a building or falling off a horse. It's like you need to pretend to be like down to your boxers in a scene. He's like, I need a stunt double. You know?
Do you know that there's a movie called Antichrist starring Willem Dafoe? And he's naked a lot in that movie, but the director has famously said that because Willem Dafoe's hog is so big, it was distractingly large. It was confusingly large, I think he said. So they had to use a smaller prosthetic penis for him the entire movie.
Didn't want to distract from the movie, so they had to give him a small prosthetic.
Because he just had this like massive hog that was just like drawing the camera.
I've heard that Willem was well endowed, but like you really wouldn't think it to look at him, would you? Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
But I
couldn't have
kinda-
happened to a nicer guy.
I respect that. I love Willem Dafoe, man. Mainly for his legendary interpretation of the Green Goblin.
I'ma squash you like a bug, Spider-Man. Anyways, Dave, try to tie that back into American Pie somehow.
It's impossible. I was just gonna ask you, what is your pick?
What's my pick? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, my pick is also a very definitive teen movie of the time, but I think it took another route. It was like a little bit more, not believable, but relatable, I would imagine. And that movie is 2007's Superbad. And this is the movie that I was saying that was the obvious pick. Maybe more so for me and Danders. We were obsessed with this movie when we were in our teenage years. An absolute banger. I always thought it was actually directed by Judd Apatow, but it's not. It was directed by Greg Mottola.
He was a
Mottola.
producer, though, wasn't he?
He was a producer for it.
Yeah. I did say, like, so obviously listeners have figured out, but like Dino said, there's one film that we'll all pick, so pick a second one. And like, Hook was the first one. Actually, Homeward Bound was the first one I thought of. But
That's good too.
As soon as I started looking into, I was like, oh, it's obviously Superbad. Like immediately. So then I just didn't prepare that one at all.
That's mad. That was the same for me in American Pie until we spoke before
Yeah,
the podcast.
yeah.
Yeah, I assumed it would be that.
Yeah, I also stayed away from American Pie for the exact same reason.
Yeah.
But Superbad is just so good. For me, it's like that quintessential millennial raunchy comedy at a time where these types of movies were like absolutely ruling the comedy box office for things like, so for example, like Step Brothers, 40-Year-Old Virgin, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, blah, 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 blah. Like, I feel that this is the movie that absolutely nailed it where others maybe didn't.
100%.
Like, this movie felt very natural in terms of its pacing and flow, and the jokes felt like an accessory to a very relatable plot rather than some of those other movies that were primarily driven by jokes.
Yeah.
And while they were funny, they didn't necessarily stick with me for a long time, if you know what I mean.
The other part, apart from the fact that the plot was relatable and, you know, the character development's fantastic, and actually it's not even the development as much as just how well cast it is, you know, like Jonah Hill, Michael Cera, and Christopher Mintz-Plasse are just unbelievable in their roles. But more than that, it's the fact that like we were that age practically, and we felt like those awkward gawky teens who were like making jokes at everything, like simultaneously awkward and overconfident at the same time, you know, like so like it just spoke to us in a way that probably no other movie ever has, like at that exact right like place and time. And speaking about millennial experience, like it changed, like not millennial, you know, teenage experience changed after that. Like, I mean, you think about a Gen Z one or whatever, and we can only imagine, like, well, you know, we'll never go through that, like, but the experience of going, like, being super bad changed, I think, after we left the scene. Do you know what I mean? So, like, we were kind of the last ones to feel that way. So it's just a moment in time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. We went to those parties. We either like everyone either knew those guys or were those guys, and we were definitely those three guys. Their last high school party, last chance to lose their virginities before college.
Didn't get invited.
yeah, exactly. And I think the whole hilarious thing about this is that we were these three awkward losers, and we had even less opportunities to have sex than these characters who are designed to be uncool.
That's true.
It's just, I don't know.
But we had just as much fun as they did, huh?
Yeah. It just holds up so well for people, I think, of our age who went through that. You know, at some stage we've all tried to buy alcohol underage. You know, we're all like big horn dogs. Like you said, we were all awkward and confident yet deeply unsure of ourselves. And to some extent still probably are.
Yeah. And like I love just the kind of comedy that just like slaps you over the face. I mean, like these days it's a nostalgia because you can't really like comedy went, I mean, first of all, it went very politically correct, and I don't know, it's kind of around the houses, trying not to offend everyone, which is good and proper. Like everyone should have their say and all of that stuff, but like just getting to kind of regress to a point where you're just like shouting profanities at other people. It's like it's relieving almost. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, oh, this is so fun. Like,
and there's that kind of comedy, and then there's also this awkward style of comedy that maybe I'd never even seen before, and Michael Cera just pulls it off perfectly, and it's become kind of my favorite kind of comedy in the world now. Like it's introduced me to like the likes of like maybe like Nathan Fielder or like Kyle Mooney. Some of these guys who have this just awkward persona, and
it's
that's
just
the
all
whole
about
bit.
timing
and Michael Cera
and
just
subtlety.
nailed
Do you know
it.
What I mean? Yeah, for sure.
And then obviously like Bill Hader and Seth Rogen were super good in it. This was actually Emma Stone's debut movie role.
Yeah,
really?
That's right. She was great in it.
Yeah,
and I mean,
absolutely great.
It's also what makes it so much cooler is the fact that Seth Rogen and his friend wrote it about their own teenage experience growing up, like in the way that that's kind of echoed through us. And then he, while he's in school, he's writing that film, and then he like has a great role in it as this like police officer who's obviously still, lamenting the good old days or whatever. And now we're doing the same thing through the movie. Do you know what I mean? And that's the power of it. Like,
oh, it's awesome.
Yeah.
On face value, it's this very simple story about these dumb teenagers who want to go to a party and have sex, but
but the execution,
like you said,
the execution was just great.
It's more about their relationships. It's more about capturing this vibe of like, we all remember going to a party and this like anticipation before the party, like this could be the night where everything happens, and usually all the time nothing ever materializes, but that never really ends up mattering.
But
what I mean?
The bros are hanging,
Yeah,
the bros are,
exactly.
And like, the bromance between Jonah Hill and Michael Cera, just like I feel like that's something that connects with so many teenage lads as well. And like the afters where they're just like in the bunk bed, just talking about the night, and like that's just
I had that written down, Danders, as the one scene that sticks with me the most. Because I remember the first time I ever got drunk, maybe 15, 15, maybe. I don't want to throw your parents under the bus because I was
we were young. We were younger than 15.
we were pretty young. And I remember just going to bed on one of your couches with Shrew next to me. Maybe you were there too, or you were in your room. But just dumb smile on my face, thinking life doesn't get any better than this. Being like, I love you so much, man. And it just like, it's such a relatable thing. That last scene, this them on the floor with their sleeping bags.
Totally, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking McLovin was a pretty iconic character as well to come from.
Yeah,
Superbad,
and actually,
right?
speaking about relatable, it's kind of funny because obviously McLovin's arc is anything but, in the sense that like it gets very fantastical. Like not too many people had as crazy experiences of that, but then it's like held down and held together with the other guys. Yeah. And like it's just like Christopher Mintz-Plasse' character is so well placed for his arc because he's just sort of like so like brought along on the journey, and he's just like gleeful about it. Do you know what I mean? Which you would be, do you know, and you're so happy for him because he's just clearly the butt of every sort of scenario, and then he just ends up having this legendary time, and I don't know, yeah.
And apparently that's kind of the way it was on set as well. He was just really young, naive kid, and they used to play like pranks and jokes on him, but he was just happy to be there.
That's amazing.
Being brought along for the ride.
I also heard that when they brought him in to audition, he was like Jonah's foil. Like every time, like Jonah would try and sort of get him into a corner and get a laugh out of him, and like Chris would say something that would just really annoy Jonah and like really get under his skin and like get him flaring up like he does in the film, where he's just like always vexed at him and shouting at him, like, and that was just 100% genuine, and everyone else in the room, including Michael Cera, was just in stitches, like, cause like Jonah Hill was genuinely vexed, like he didn't want Christopher Mintz-Plasse at all, like, but everyone was like, oh, like seeing you like this is just perfect, so that's hilarious.
That's very good. So to sum up, for me, it is the perfect millennial movie. And if not the perfect movie, it's at least perfect for me for that particular time. And I'll end it with a Tyler, the Creator tweet from 2011. And he said, Superbad, the movie, is one of those movies that, like 20 years from now, I can say that movie was for guys my age 20 years ago. And of course, guys was substituted for another word that I can't say.
Guys.
I think he nailed it.
He nailed it. He nailed it.
Yeah. Quick honorable mentions, anyone? I have Austin Powers, Donnie Darko, Step Up to the Streets. That's very just me. The Lord of the Rings trilogy, obviously.
Yeah.
And then what I think is the definitive millennial rom-com, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Or insert Matthew McConaughey movie here, man. Like,
exactly.
He did a lot of them around that time. Yeah, I told you I had Homeward Bound. Lion King, which is my favorite childhood film. And actually, I figured we kind of ran the gamut pretty well apart from early childhood. Like, we did childhood, and then we did school days, and then we did kind of college days between the three of us there. So
that's actually really good. That worked out amazing.
Right?
I had Shrek down as well from like early days.
Shrek is a very good shout.
Although I think while it is a millennial movie, Shrek has become a Gen Z icon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was stolen. You're right.
He was.
Harry Potter is obviously quintessentially millennial, but also you've got 7 to pick from, and I don't know whether, I absolutely loved Harry Potter, but like I didn't want to bring it up for this one just because it just seemed like a different direction, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Bridget Jones, again, kind of not for us, but very, very iconic for that era. Fast and Furious, Space Jam, and 10 Things I Hate About You as well. We're all on my list. Bangers.
They're good ones.
But we don't have time to dwell on that because we need to move into our next segment, which is a quick quiz called the Blockbuster Quiz. In this quick quiz segment, I'll give you guys a year from the early 2000s to 2010s, and you will work together to guess the top flick in the North American box office from that year. Bonus points if you can give me the Best Picture Oscar winner from that year. However, this game has absolutely zero stakes, so bonus points are essentially meaningless. Okay, let's start with 2001.
What am I looking for here? We're just to be clear, you're looking for the top grossing movie of that year?
Yeah, so the top movie in the North American box office, which would be the top grossing movie in North America.
So 2001 was Twin Towers year. So I'm trying to think kind of what was going on around that time.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings, the Two Towers.
Two Towers, yeah, at its peak. Yeah, I don't know, 2001. So I was about 8 years old. Okay, was it maybe I think I'm a bit early with this, actually. Yeah, I was going to say Triple X, but I know that I was maybe 10 or 11 when that came out. Do you have anything in the tank, Dave, for 2001?
Oh, like I'm struggling to think of movies specifically from '01. Like, when did the first Spider-Man come out? You know, with Tobey Maguire.
Oh, that's a good shout. That's a really good shout.
A
Love
very
Actually
good
also
shout.
did, but like I think that's, first of all, it's a British film. I know it is kind of a worldwide one now, but like also it wasn't released until the very end of the year.
Spider-Man.
No. I said Love Actually really quickly.
Oh,
there.
sorry.
But no. I think you're way, like it. That's so much bigger a box office hit like as well. So,
But was it 2001? That's what I'm worried.
I think you're on the money. I think you're bang on the money. I'm very happy to back you with that one.
Are we gonna lock it in? Spider-Man.
We got nothing else.
Spider-Man is wrong. Spider-Man was the top grossing film in 2002. Well done, Dave. You're always really good at these games.
Damn.
The top film in 2001 was Harry Potter and the Sorcerer or Philosopher's Stone.
Isn't that
depending
annoying? I
on where
literally
you
said
are.
Harry Potter earlier as well.
There
I
we
shouldn't.
go.
If I'd thought laterally, maybe I would have got there. I saw that film 11 times in the cinema, so I should have known.
Jesus.
But also it's because we were taking the ferry back and forth from England to Ireland all the time, and they had a cinema on board at the time, so you could just knock it out. Like
Oh
we did.
yeah.
You know.
Just knock one out.
Yeah. Me and all the family just knocking it out.
The Oscar winner from that year, Best Picture. Any guesses?
What was more grown up in 2001? Jeez, a lot. Like I remember, anytime I look up a film, it's fucking come out in 2001. But like, I don't know.
believe it's a Russell Crowe movie. I think.
Oh really? Oh okay. Was it called something Midnight in Paris or something like that?
No, I'm going to see if I'm actually right with this one. Hold on, let me do a quick Google search. Let me do a quick Bing search. Yeah, Russell Crowe, and it is A Beautiful Mind.
Oh yeah.
Russell Crowe was on a heater at this stage because the
Yeah.
Oscar winner from the year before was Gladiator, also a Russell Crowe vehicle. Okay, we're going to do another one. And Dave, 2002 Spider-Man Oscar winner, Chicago. 2003.
So here. So what do we? I think maybe. What about James Bond: Die Another Day came out around then? I think
Yes. Also, I think Shrek was that year.
2003. Shrek. Yeah, that's a good shout.
I can give you a hint that this is, I think it might still hold the record for most Oscars for a single movie.
Oh, well then I know the
ever.
answer. It's Return of the King.
It is Return of the King.
Let's go,
and I think
Denders.
that probably also gave away. Oh, sorry, 1 second here. I need to give you a little treat for your good work.
Nice.
I think that also gives away the Oscar winner from the year.
Yeah, it was Return of the King. It was a sweep. It got like 15 or something. I mean, and also I think one has got the same number of Oscars since, but like they had more nominations. So Lord of the Rings was more efficient, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
Like, if you
Yeah,
know
because
what I'm
I
saying.
remember that too. Something won a load of things, but I can't remember what it
A
was.
heap, but I can't remember now either. So that just goes to show, you know what I mean?
It wasn't. No, couldn't have been Avatar.
No, because Avatar, it was obviously nominated for heaps, but it didn't get Best Picture. That went to his wife for Hurt Locker, his ex-wife.
Oh, yeah,
And it
yeah.
didn't get Best Actor, which I think was also Hurt Locker for his wife. I mean, they, I think were very amicable about it. I think they're very close, but so he did, you know, he got all of the ones for like Best Cinematography and visuals and music and stuff, but obviously he missed out on the ones that he wanted most, which were director, picture, and lead actor or whatever. Or I think so. Yeah, so it couldn't have been that one. I'll look it up while you're
Yeah, sure.
segueing.
And while you're binging that, I will take a little jaunt to 2008. Any ideas for 2008?
Oh, see, like
Highest grossing movie.
Stuck on Black Eyed Peas.
I kind of hate this game too because I just struggle to think of movies that came out that year. Like,
This is a movie I
At
think
all, like-
Danders likes a lot.
Yeah. Okay. What is it? A Judd Apatow comedy?
No,
Okay.
no, it's not a comedy.
Is it an action film?
It's an action film. I'll give some more hints. It's a Nolan film.
Ah, okay. It's got to be Dark Knight.
let's go.
Yes, it is The Dark Knight. And do you know the Oscar winner from that year?
Because I watched a clip of Heath Ledger's family accepting an Oscar on his behalf, so I'm trying to remember what happened in that year. Was there Is it a Denzel picture?
No. It's Slumdog Millionaire.
Oh yeah, which was a great film. I have to be fair.
Was.
And in 2013, the highest grossing movie was the third movie in a franchise. Do we know what that movie was in 2013?
Tokyo Drift.
Tokyo Drift, yeah.
No.
20 years old. Misplaced that timing as well. In 2013, you said, was it?
Yeah.
It was a third in a sequel. Toy Story 3?
No.
Hardly.
I'll give you a little hint.
Wait. Okay, so not Return of the King, obviously. Not Star Wars. Yeah, okay, give me a hint. Sorry.
It's a Marvel movie.
Oh.
Iron Man 3?
Yeah.
Iron Man 3 is correct.
Yes. Dino with the assists, but I'm happy to claim the points.
And finally, do we know what the Oscar winner from 2013 was? And this gets a whole lot more serious than Iron Man 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Was it... Okay, so let's talk about serious stuff. Was it like Gone Girl or something like that? Let's
No.
think.
I would say more serious. Than
More
Gone
serious
Girl.
than Gone Girl.
In 2013.
Okay, so like 12 Years a Slave or...
Oh, correct.
Amazing. Yes.
Good job. Nice.
I was like, I was trying to think of the most serious, brutal stuff I could.
I have like Iron Man 3 and 12 Years of Slave very close to each other on the page here.
Iron Man 312 Years a Slave.
Iron Man 12 Years a Slave. We can look forward to that one in a few years. Well done, boys. You did better than I thought we might do in this. It's a lot harder with movies than it is with music, where you can place a song to a particular
music, it's easy to go back to that time in your head, but like a movie that comes out around that time, it's much harder to pin unless you kind of know the facts. You know that you're the movie facts or whatever. You know what I mean? So that was the challenge.
But a good effort all around, boys, and we are moving swiftly towards our final segment of the day. The year is 2025. It is a period of civil war. Rebel TikTok accounts striking from a hidden VPN have won their first victory against the evil Boomer Empire. During the battle, rebel spies managed to steal secret plans of the Empire's ultimate weapon, inflation, a capitalist knock-on effect with enough power to destroy an entire generation. Pursued by the Empire's sinister agents, Han Yolo races online to his Facebook, posting of the stolen plans that can save his people and restore freedom to society and generations to come. Can the Millennial, Gen Z, and Gen Alpha people unite to defeat the evil Boomer Empire? The fate of the universe is your hands. Aboard the Millennial Falcon. Welcome to the Millennial Falcon. This segment of the show is a game show style quiz where contestants, in this case Danders, aka Chugi Baka, and Dave, aka Choda, complete the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs with the Empire's secret plans and save the universe for generations to come. I am your host, Han Yolo, and today we are playing Are You Smarter Than a Baby Boomer? In this game, I'll be reading out boomer slang phrases, and you both have to guess the meaning. 3 parsecs goes to the closest answer. First contestant to 12 parsec wins and is crowned captain of the Millennial Falcon.
You know, I had to, when I started my previous job, I had to write a paper on like Chugi, and I'd never heard of it before. And the woman who was a director who was like 15 years older than me was like, "Well, that's embarrassing. Don't you keep up at all?" And I was like, "Maybe you're the Chugi one."
Fucking Chugi.
Fucking Chugi ho. She was Chugi Baka.
Yeah, she was Chugi Baka. And Dave, as always, is Choda.
Yeah, as always. That's his LinkedIn profile.
Choda. He's getting so many jobs. So, welcome aboard the Millennial Falcon, guys. Are you ready to play? I think I'll do this in turns, will I? I'll start with Danders, or do you want to do a system where you have to buzz in by saying your name?
Go with your gut, man.
Let's buzz in. And the first one to buzz in gets the answer.
Right.
Remember, your names are Chugibaka and Choda. So that's what you have to buzz in with. First person to 12 parsecs wins, 3 parsecs to the closest answer. Okay. Number 1, the boomer slang phrase is boob tube.
Chugibaka. It's like a little top, like a little, what do you call it? Like a bandu or something, you know? Just a little top.
Dave,
No.
you have a chance to steal.
Is that not what it is? A boob tube?
It is not.
Okay, yeah, okay. Okay, I'm gonna guess. So, is it something to do with actual boobs? Like, is it something, I don't know, on the internet?
Something to do with television, isn't it?
Oh, Danders gets it.
I don't think you can give it to me, to be fair, because like I failed out and then Dave failed
In the
out.
interest of pushing this game along, I think I'm going to give it to you. 3 parsecs to Danders.
But what is it?
It's television.
It's a television.
Oh,
The term boob was commonly used to describe a silly person, so the catchy phrase was coined on the notion that much of what's watched on TV is either foolish or geared towards foolish people.
okay. So this is gonna be that's definitely like a North American thing, cause
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah. And I'll say to everyone out there who maybe doesn't know that boomers are people born from 1946 to 1964. So a little bit
Probably
out of
all
our...
of our parents.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. So next, number 2 is, what's your bag?
Choda.
Chugibaka.
I think that was Dave.
The thing is, I started saying it first, but it's a much longer word.
Stop being a sore loser.
No, I'm
Dan,
gonna give
you're
it to
already
Dave.
Is it does what's your bag mean like what's your thing? Like what's your like it's say let's do this if that's your bag. Do you know if that's your
Correct.
Yeah,
it can
yeah.
mean like what's your thing, or it could also mean like what's your problem. Had a couple of meanings, but you've nailed one of them. Okay, so that's 3 points each. Number 3, probably an easy one. So this is going to be an exercise in whoever can say their name fastest. Don't flip your wig.
Choda?
Oh, this one goes to Choda. What is don't flip your wig?
Don't be freaking out. Like don't be losing on yourself.
Exactly.
These are intuitive.
Basically, calm down.
Yeah. Chill the fuck out.
Correct. Originally, it was referred to bowing so low to one's superior that one's wig flipped off. But then in the early 50s, the phrase was used to tell someone to calm down. So that's 6-3. Dave is approaching victory, but will he win this next point? With number 4, razz my berries.
Choda.
Choda.
So I definitely don't know this, but I'm gonna take a guess. Is it like suck my balls? Is that not what it means? No.
No subtlety. Is it like
It is not,
suck my balls?
It is not suck my balls. Suck my balls for 300? Chugibaka, do you have any idea?
I was about to say, suck my balls. Okay, I was trying to think of it again. Razz my berries. Well, I remember blowing a raspberry was a lot of fun in boomer days. Oh, used to love blowing a raspberry. Razz my berries. I don't know, just excite me, I'm going to say.
Yes, correct.
Nice.
It's when something excites you or brings you pleasure, it razzes your berries.
Yeah.
So that's 6 points each, 6 parsecs, should I say. Number 5 is decked out.
Choda.
Chugibaka.
I think Choda took that one again.
Decked out means like you're kitted out. You got all your shit. Like you're if you have money, you'd buy a load of shit for yourself. Maybe I don't know. Yeah.
Kind of correct. I'm going to give it to you anyways. Decked out means your fit's going hard. You got that drip on you back in those days. So that is 9 parsecs to 6. And number 6, Chugibaka, are you ready to take a point back on Davey?
I'm going to try.
Number 6 is apple butter.
Chugibaka?
Yes.
I don't know. I just tried to get myself in there. Apple butter. I mean, they used to say apple bottom jeans.
And the boots with the
But that's not a boomer thing. Apple butter. I shouldn't have buzzed in. Oh god, I'm freaking out. Apple butter. Great. I don't know. I just can't. Applesauce. I can't think of anything.
Incorrect, Dave or Choda.
Choda has no idea what the fuck that means.
Okay,
Like.
so we'll skip this one. Apple butter is smooth talk or flattery. But also, while I was looking up this, according to Urban Dictionary, apple butter is the tan, buttery substance around a gay man's anus after being penetrated with lube or jizz.
That's what I was gonna say.
I was like, is that a boomer thing? Like, that's why I was saying asses. Like,
Okay, moving on to number 7, which is wig chop.
Chugibaka.
Chugibaka.
Wig chop, just a haircut.
Oh, correct. The score is 9 to 9 parsecs with all to play for. Number 8 is made in the shade.
Choda?
Yes, Choda.
Made in the shade. Is it something to describe bad people? Maybe, possibly a bad guy.
Correct.
A southerner.
What was that?
A southerner, I said, because it's from a scene. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, okay. No, made in the shade is from the 1950s, and it means you were on top of the world.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to skip that one and come back to it because that one's an easy one, and we can use that as a tiebreaker. Number 9 is Fink. Fink. Fink.
Choda.
Yes.
Is it like a smart person? No. Like
Incorrect.
no.
Chigibaka.
Think. Yeah, I'm kind of where Dave is with it. I'm struggling to get away from that kind of idea.
Sorry, I was guessing, but it was like off
Fink.
of your man from Simpsons, Professor Fink. It is
Frink
Professor
or
Fink,
something.
isn't it? Or is he
Frink,
Frink?
I think, yeah.
We'll skip it then.
All right,
he's
skip
Frink.
it. Tell us though. Tell us what it was.
If you're called a Fink, it means you're a snitch. I think this is a cool one. I might start bringing this one back. Calling people Finks. And here we go. Number 10 is Chrome Dome.
Chucky Bucket. Sorry, I thought I had to get it in there. Chrome Dome. So obviously it's like having a helmet on or something.
Dave, show that.
Man, I have no idea. I've never heard Chrome Dome
Dome.
before.
I've heard it said.
Have you?
Chrome Dome. Yeah, I have heard it said. Yeah.
Dave, give us an answer, and we'll move on to the final one, and that final one will be our tiebreaker.
What's fucked is I was gonna go with the pretty much the
I
same
thought that
thing
was
at
the title.
Dender's. Dender's went with like a hat or something.
Well, you already know that's wrong. So,
I know,
anyways, it is
yeah.
wrong again. A Chrome Dome is someone who's bald.
Ah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, makes sense.
Oh yeah.
And finally, number 11 for the tiebreaker, we have Moo Juice.
Chucky
Sure.
Bucket. Moo juice. Oh, milk.
Yes!
I let you get a couple there at the start, Dave. I let you get a couple to get a bit of confidence, but I'm never gonna let you take that win. You know.
A comeback of our time. Wow,
Good
Moo
job.
Juice meaning milk. The final score is 12 parsecs to 9, which means that Chugibaka is the winner and the official captain of the Millennial Falcon.
That was a nail
Congratulations,
biter, man.
Chugibaka. It was a nail biter.
Nice.
But unfortunately, that is about all we have time for today. You can tune in again next week for another dope episode of Millennial Jackass. Until then, keep your fits on fleek and your swag on 100. Laters.
Millennial Jackass!
Welcome back to We Should Start a Podcast, already in progress. We just heard my sensational podcast idea, Millennial Jackass. And as always, we will be critiquing Millennial Jackass using the classic podcast rating system that we know and love, which is based, of course, on 3 criteria. And those 3 criteria are, number 1, the concept or the general idea of the show. Number 2 is longevity. Do we think the show has legs to grow? And number 3, and probably the most important criteria of all, is pod sauce. Pod sauce is the je ne sais quoi flair or extra spice to the podcast that makes it a winner. Pod sauce could be literally anything you enjoyed from the pod or something you think gave the pod some extra flavor. This week's pod sauce segment is sponsored by ketchup. There's not really a joke associated with that one. I just feel that ketchup is a very millennial sauce.
Yeah.
I just think that people aren't using ketchup like they used to, you know? I know, Danders, you're a huge ketchup guy.
Yeah, but particularly in the millennial days when we were growing up, man, I mean, I'll sicken a bunch of listeners, but if you had one of those sachets, I would have had about 15 of them with every meal. Didn't matter what I was having.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm much less that way now. I still love it, but you're absolutely right. It was very much a generational thing because our parents were not so into the ketchup.
No, they weren't. And probably justly so, because that has a lot of sugar in it.
Yeah.
Is there anything weird you would have had your ketchup with, Danders?
Yeah, definitely. But like, I mean, a lot of it I did kind of to flex. Like I tried it one time in tea. I tried it one time on cake. But commonly I would have it like with starchy carbs. Like I would have it with bread. I loved it with bread. I would have it with pasta. I just have it on pasta. You know, that kind of stuff.
Like no sauce job, like?
Yeah, like I mean, I put it on pizza. You know, but them I kind of see them as kind of mainstream now. But like I used to have it. Anything that was on my plate that didn't absolutely fight the taste of tomato, I would have it on absolutely everything you could think of.
We were a saucy generation. I mean, even recently I was having an omelet and I was with some Gen Zs and I put some ketchup on an omelet and they were all horrified. Like, what are you doing? Like, like that is like the most classic thing to put ketchup on.
For me, that's so common, 100%. But maybe it's a North America thing as well. But yeah, like I heard a podcast of Ed Sheeran, who is a massive ketchup head, as I was.
A derogatory term for gingers.
Yeah. But those days are behind me.
Ketchup head.
And he says that he puts it on, and just people are absolutely shocked at some of the stuff that I thought was very low level. But like, actually, I did put like one time an Italian made me lasagna when we were in Australia, and for him it was this big moment about, you know, okay, I'm gonna experience you guys with my culture now, and like real proud moment. And then I put ketchup on, and he was honestly horrified. Like now in hindsight, I would never do that, you know.
Yeah, but, I'd be kind of pissed off too.
He was furious. Like, I was like, it doesn't mean anything about your cooking. I'm always gonna have ketchup on the side of it. Like,
do you think Brian Thompson put ketchup on a lasagna that Luigi made for him?
Maybe. Or chicken on his pizza. Like,
do you think we misconstrued this whole thing? It wasn't anything to do with the
it just happened to be a
system.
CEO. Like.
Yeah. You ruined my lasagna. And as always, guys, after discussing the 3 criteria, which are concept, longevity, and pod sauce, we will each give our final rating of this week's podcast. Will Millennial Jackass be a smash hit, or should we trash it? Let's go around the table and hear from the boys what they thought of the concept of the show. Danders, what did you think?
Love the concept. I low-key love being a millennial and just getting to riff on all of our absolutely classic memories and formative years is like, you know, mother's milk to me. So I absolutely love the concept. And I think that there's enough people in the world that feel the same way, to be honest with you, you know, so it's going to land and it's going to slap.
Mm-hmm. And for anyone from a different generation out there, mainly the younger folks, Gen Zs, mother's milk was a phrase that we used really commonly as millennials. We couldn't stop saying it.
When I talk about millennials, oh boy, yeah. Give me that mother's milk.
Dave, what did you think of the concept?
Yeah, man, it's an experience-based podcast. So like we get to share and relive these experiences. Well, talk about them in a way, and also with the listeners too, like they get to be reminded about certain things from their childhood or their upbringing and stuff like that, if they're, you know, millennials. But yeah, it's a cool concept, man. It's fun to do, fun to execute, and hopefully fun to listen to.
We can't guarantee that, but I had a lot of fun today nonetheless. And Dave, let's stick with you. Longevity. Do you think the show has legs to grow? As
the ball has been dropped, this is the second time we've done this episode. So like once you've done 2 of them, you may as well keep it going. Like, so obviously there's there's runway here. Like, so yeah, plenty.
And I would actually be very happy to continue doing this show. I really enjoy it. What were you saying, Dave?
Nothing. I was just kind of rolling off of what I was saying into the abyss. Sorry.
Just keep rolling, as us millennials love to say. We're all big Fred Durst fans. Dander's the biggest Fred Durst fan of all of us. What do you think?
My biscuits
does the show have longevity?
Yeah, 100%. Like, I mean, I think there's going to be a millennial generation for at least 50 or 60 years, please God, and after that, you're going to have all the millennials, right? The wannabe millennials, or the fans of Will Smith's millennial album Millennium.
Man, it's so funny you say that. I saw that CD in the Mother's Charity shop like a few days ago, and I was like, my God, that's crazy.
It's another classic.
You're like,
another classic.
this CD is Sweet Mother's Milk.
But yeah, people are always going to be as interested in our culture as we are. So no, yeah, you can run with this, because like you've got like a 30-year spread of like a 20-year spread of millennials, and they're all moving up the needle throughout life. So they'll be reflecting on our teenhood experience now, and then they'll probably be reflecting on experience in our 20s and 30s in a few years, having grown up as a millennial. So you can run with this one,
Mm-hmm. Good take, Danders. Good take. And do you have a pod sauce pick for the day?
Yeah, so my pod sauce was when Dave said, "Suck my balls." Suck my balls? My pod... my pod sauce is actually your Star Wars intro. Gotta give it to you, man. That's a lot of fun. I love those moments. Yeah.
Do you like how for the actual podcast, the one that's going to be released, I had to use copyright-free Star Wars music because I was afraid of using the actual... Yeah.
The other thing is that like you played it real loud, so you had to shout over it. So in the edit, when you like master your music, you're just going to be blaring down the roof. So I'm looking forward to hearing that balance.
Great pick, D. And the other D, Choda. Do you have a pick for pod sauce?
Yeah, my pod sauce I really enjoyed the nicknames, the aliases you gave us during the Star Wars part of the set.
No, thank you.
The pod, yeah, Choda and Chugibaka.
Chugibaka. I had a couple more up my sleeve as well. I had Princess Bea. I think Bae was a very millennial term. Yeah. And we had Swagakin Skywalker as well. Okay. That was a bit weaker.
Did you didn't pick one for yourself? Dino?
No, I did. I'm Han Yolo.
Oh yeah, you did.
Yeah. And man, I still think "Razz my berries" sounds like "suck my balls." If somebody said that to me on the street, if someone said that to me just randomly on the street, "Yo, razz my berries," I'd be like, but that's fighting talk. Like.
Oh, razz my berries.
Why don't you reclaim that phrase as your own, Dave?
Bring it back.
This chick was giving me Chrome Dome, and then she razzed my berries. Then she put a finger in my fink.
She was finking me.
She was finking me. Generated a lot of apple butter. Oh, very good, guys. Very good. So we just talked about the 3 criteria of our podcast rating system. And now is time for the overall rating, the only one that really counts. Is Millennial Jackass a smash hit, or should we trash it? Let's go with Danders first. What do you think?
In reference to the most millennial of presidents that we had, let's not beat around the George W. Bush. It's a smash hit from me, guys.
An absolute smash hit. And Dave, from you.
Yes, sir.
Is Millennial Jackass a smash hit, or should we trash it?
Yes, sir. And I enjoyed it the first time. I enjoyed it the second time. And I'm sure I'll enjoy it every other time we do this. It was a certified smash hit. Good job, Dino.
Thank you, boys. Oh. We haven't had one yet today, so I thought I'd throw it in. The first Get the Dog of 2025. Wow. Wow is all I can say. Because with a resounding positive response, Millennial Jackass is a certifiable smash hit. But at WSSAP, we like to hedge our bets. So until we can get this bad boy into production, we will continue plotting, pitching, and of course, podding until we are certain we have the next podcast smash on our hands. Any closing words for today, boys?
Get out of here. Go on, get out of here.
Oh, yeah.
You rascal.
I'm trying to think of something pithy and millennial, but just stay cool, bros.
Yeah. This was, Far Out is probably...
Far Out. It's a bit Australian. I guess just thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. It's our first recording back after over a month, so we apologize if it was a little bit rough around the edges. But I think we reeled it in the end. We reeled it in.
Yeah, somewhat.
So, you heard it here first. Listen out for Millennial Jackass coming soon, exclusively to the Crunk Ketchup podcast app. If you think that we should start Millennial Jackass, please rate, subscribe, and let us know at WSSAP Official on Instagram and X, formerly known as Twitter. That is WSSAP Official on Instagram and X. And look out for us coming soon on Red Note. We are inches away from a huge idea, and you can tune in again next week to hear us pitch that next hit show. And I really do think that one is going to be very nice. But until next week, everyone, please keep your ear to the grindstone. And remember the viral cautionary words of a distraught Antoine Dodson during a 2010 WAFF 48 News interview. He's climbing in your windows. He's snatching your people up. So y'all need to hide your kids, hide your wife, and hide your husband, because they're podcasting to everybody out there. See you next time.